we have to understand where the war came from and therefore how it can end. The war started with the continuation of the Cold War after 1991. People thought there was peace, but the CIA, the military-industrial complex, continued the effort to weaken Russia. Brzezinski talked about Russia falling into three pieces in a 1997 article, saying that maybe there'll be a loose confederation of a European Russia, a Siberian Russia, a Far East Russia. But the U.S. design was that Russia should finally basically be crushed, that the Cold War was with the Soviet Union, but we're not over yet. We're dominant. We won. And on that basis, Clinton began NATO enlargement. I say Clinton because basically every president then did the bidding of the military-industrial complex. Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump won, Biden, and maybe this is going to end this crazy misadventure, but this has been 30 years of trying to push NATO to Ukraine and to Georgia, by the way, in the South Caucasus, where the U.S. meddling continues to this day. The idea is Russia's a big country, and therefore it should be a weak country, according to the U.S. Strategic doctrine. Okay, we overthrew a government in February 2014, installed a pro-NATO regime. Russia immediately took back Crimea at that moment because the post-coup government in Ukraine said, okay, we want Russia out of its Black Fleet naval base in Crimea. That's a naval base that Catherine the Great established in 1783 and that has been core to Russia's national security and power since 1783. The United States and let's say the deep state said, we want Russia out of there. That was the same idea of the British and the French in 1853 have tried to get Russia out of Crimea in the Crimean War. Okay, enough history. The basic point is Russia does not want to be surrounded. It does not want NATO present. It does not want security guarantees like Article 5. It does not want Western troops on the ground. It wants Ukraine, at a minimum, to be a neutral buffer zone between the United States and its proxies and allies and Russia. That's the bottom line. So, starting point, no NATO. Similarly, nothing that's NATO-like or NATO-light of French and British troops and German troops, and that's what the whole war has been about.
Right.
Second, Crimea is never going back. This is absolutely clear. This was a gambit. It was this was a ploy of NATO to grab Crimea, and the whole idea, which Brzezinski spelled out in 1997, was if we can basically get Ukraine and push Russia out of the Black Sea, then Russia has no power in the Middle East. It has no power in the Eastern Mediterranean, and that was part of the strategy. So Crimea staying. Then come the territories that Russia has annexed as of November 2022. This is 2 in the east and 2 in the south. The idea of this goes back to 2 points. One is that at least in the east, these are overwhelmingly ethnically Russian regions, the Donbass. And Russia said in 2015, make them autonomous. We don't want them as territory, but make them autonomous under a treaty called the Minsk II Agreement. The United States, typically, because it was still in its expansionist mode, said no, told Ukraine, you don't have to honor that agreement. Russia did not claim those territories. It just said leave them alone to have the Russian language, Russian ethnicity, and so forth. And Ukraine, in the post-coup environment, said, no, we will take them in a unitary state. So Russia grabbed those back. Now it's claimed those back because the Minsk II agreement failed.